Welcome back everyone, my name is Eltimar and we are going to be continuing our Let's Play of Shadowrun Returns. Where we left off last time, we got our next mission. We're heading down into the U-Bahn platform and we're on our way to go meet up with yet another person with possibly more information, or maybe not. We'll see. The rabbit hole is where we have found ourselves, and there's a public bathroom with something. A hyper. We'll just leaving drugs all over the place in here. Probably not the ideal place for it, but that's fine. I don't think there's anything else in here that I can see, so let's go talk to the arcade machine. The only active console in this derelict span of U-Bahn platform is an old video arcade machine. The CRT monitor set into the machine's cabinet glows invitingly. Cheerful, pixelated graphics swirl and dance on the screen. Let's investigate it. At the base of the controller panel, you find a cleverly hidden input port. The port is shrouded in black plastic and appears to be the approximate shape of a typical cred stick. Let's insert the down payment into the machine. Internal motors grip the cred stick and pull it into the machine. It disappears into the port and the screen goes black. Oops, I'm gonna move my mic 1 second, sorry guys. Fix the sound. Moments later, a video image fills the screen. The picture is dark and grainy, a far cry from the bright, colorful sprites that previously inhabited the display. On the screen is a dimly lit office. The place looks like it was pulled straight from an old detective movie, from the Venetian blinds on the windows to the great swaths of shadow that paint the walls black. Center stage, standing behind a large mahogany desk, is the silhouette of an impressive-looking woman in a charcoal gray suit. The tip of a cigarette glows cherry red in the shadows. She leans forward into the light, and you catch your first glimpse of Alice. Her face is all hard planes and sculpted angles, with high cheekbones and almond eyes. Her lips are painted a frigid blue, but the look in her eyes is even colder. A head of lustrous black hair is interspersed with flowing streams of cyan light. Alice exhales a plume of smoke, then tips her cigarette into a nearby ashtray. She fixes her eyes on you, and her lips curl into a humorless smile. We're on your dime, friend. Tell me what you're looking for. I need you to find someone for me, Dr. Adrian Vauclair. She raises an eyebrow. The Dragon Slayer? Interesting. He's been missing for a long time. Yes, he has. Question is, can you find him? She looks you in the eye, and the smile disappears. Her voice is all business. If he's out there somewhere, I'll find him for you. He could be living under an assumed name in California, Free State, and I'd still track him down. And if he's not alive, I'll tell you where you can find his corpse. Alright, I'm satisfied. Let's talk about the job. Alice pulls her fingers. Alright, here's how this is gonna work. When you give me the go-ahead, I'm going to start gathering information for you. Once I've finished, you're going to bring me a cred stick encoded with an encryption key that I'll provide you. That cred stick will have 50,000 new yen on it. When I get my cred stick, you get your information. This is the deal. Take it or leave it. Alright, you got a deal. Actually, price gouging, huh? For a neo-anarchist, you behave an awful lot like an old-world profiteer. Alice smiles at you sweetly. I wasn't aware that there was a difference between the two. In all seriousness, I'm charging what the job is worth. Do you know how much work it takes to find a digital ghost? There's going to be wet work, breaking into government archives. Hell, I might even have to commission an expedition into the socks. This is a serious undertaking, friend. Now, do we have a deal, or don't we? Yep, we got a deal. Okay, but remember, you say go and I go. From that point on, you're on the hook to pay me my fee. No turning back, no refunds. Are we square on this? Yeah, we're square. Good, I'll be in touch. The screen goes black. Moments later, the machine reboots. The colorful sprites that you saw when you first approached the arcade cabinet return. There's nothing more to see here. Alice is gone. And we're back onto the train. Quick journey. Now we need to make 50,000 new yen. No big deal. It's only, like... Actually, how much do we have currently? Was it C? We have 1,362 new yen, so only 50-ish times what we have currently. No problem. Better get some jobs going, I guess. Hey, Chief, what's up? Any thoughts about that last run you'd like to share? Nah, nothing we haven't talked about, Chief. Okay. I'm gonna just stop in and check with all of our people, see if they have anything new to say. If not, we're gonna go talk to Amsel and move on. Dietrich. Anything new and exciting going on? Got nothing more to say, boss. Let's get this run taken care of. You can hit me up later if you want to talk. Alright, let's go talk to Iger. Maybe she'll have something to say to me now. This isn't the best of times. Come back later. Okay, we have to be tougher with her, but less nice, I guess. Eltimar, what do you want? I have a question of the personal kind. I'm not big on sharing sport. Personal reasons, you understand, I'm sure. Sure, I understand, but I still need to talk to you. Ask your questions, but do it quickly. I have things to do. You can't have started running the Shadows much more than 5 years ago, tops, so what's with the vintage chrome? It was cheap, it gets the job done, she shrugs. End of discussion. I don't think so. I've known a lot of street Sams in my day, but I've never met anyone who'd voluntarily install cyberware that old. You're right, there's more to it than I'm letting on, but I'm not interested in talking about it. Can't help you seem guarded, withdrawn. That's my problem and none of your concern. You talk to me, I can help. I doubt it, Chummer. I doubt it very much, but I appreciate the sentiment. Maybe later, when we know one another better, we can get into it. You have anything else you want to say? How you holding up? Don't worry about me, I'm solid. You say you're good, I trust you. She grants me a barely perceptible nod. I guess that's it then. Everyone's all talked to. Let's go talk to Amsel. Eltimar, did you make contact with Alice? Yes, I did. She accepted your payment and ordered the search for the information we need. Very good. I can't imagine that this will be cheap. What was Alice's stated price? You're right on that count. 50,000 Nuyen. He shrugs. It's about as I expected. Thankfully, we're prepared for this. I've established a contact with a number of new clients. You can find the information on the jobs logged on your mission computer. One jobs file is on there already. While you're working to earn Alice's fee, I will continue to dig for clues about Fierschwinch. If she is in fact roosting under Harfeld Manor, then there must be some evidence to support that fact. A dragon is a large thing to hide, after all. Be careful, Paul. Remember what happened to Monica. I will never forget. Don't worry, Eltimar. I'm going to conduct my investigation the old-fashioned way, through contacts and deduction and careful observation. I will not jack into the Matrix until this entire sorry episode is finished. That's probably wise. Speaking of doing things the old-fashioned way, Malit is working to recover information off of those other DVDs. It's a painstaking process, and it will not be quick, but she's optimistic she'll be successful in time. Finally, I have been checking up on our friend, the orc with the skin grafts. I haven't heard anything back yet, but I'll keep you appraised as the situation develops. Sounds good. I'll go check on the other jobs. One last thing before you go, Eltimar. Samuel Beckenbauer wanted me to pass a message to you. Do you know him? The orc that runs the shelter across the way? Yeah, I met him. Ah, well, he has a job for you. He wouldn't discuss it with me, but he promised that it would be worth your time. Keep it in mind as well. Alright, let's go check this place. What jobs do we have? Oops. We have a new message. Commissioning your services withheld to Eltimar. We'd like to arrange a meeting between you and one of our representatives. You'll find him at the cafe nearby. His name is Luca Dower. Doer? I think it's Doer. He'll be expecting you. Come alone. Okay. I can do that. View all pending and active jobs. A pharma cleanup job. Here you'll find the complete transcript of my conversation with Fuchs. I'm really hoping it's not Fux. Fuchs is a potential client. The job seems to be relatively straightforward, and the payout is reasonable. One word of caution before you proceed. There are aspects of this run that you might find morally troubling. Not really. Be sure to read and understand the specifics of the job before accepting. If you do accept, you'll be expected to carry out the requirements of the job in full. After reading the transcript, you may choose whether or not to accept the job. If you respond in the affirmative, our client will be notified, and I will make all the necessary preparations for the run. Herr Amsel? Yes, I'm here. To whom am I speaking? You may call me I'm gonna say it's Fux. Or Fuchs. Very well, please describe the work that you would like to have done. Straight to the point, I like that. Very well. I'd like to retain your team's services to clean up a mess. Go on. My employers dispatched a team of operatives to conduct a quiet operation at a local shearing pharma ads job. Or lab. Unfortunately, they botched the job. The team was eliminated, but we have reliable information that one of the operatives has been taken captive. If this rogue agent were to spill information leading back to my employers, it would lead to a corporate war. A great many lives could be lost. My employer would like nothing more than to prevent such a tragic turn of events. I see. And you wish to retain my team's services to tie up loose ends? Exactly. The captive operative is a rigger by the name of Thorvald Enstad. We need him neutralized before he can inform us on his captors. As Enstad and his team have already put the facility on high alert, stealth will not be an option. Your team will need to shoot its way in, eliminate Enstad, and exit the facility. A straightforward enough task, and well within my team's capabilities. What are you offering in terms of pay? 15,000 Nuyen. This offer is non-negotiable. Very well, I'll pass on the offer to my team. Very good day, Aramsel. Do we want to accept the job? Yeah, why not? What's the other one? Human data steal. Samuel Beckenbauer has approached me with an offer of work. Apparently an associate of his has learned some disturbing details regarding the Berlin chapter of the Humanness Polyclub. He would like to contract your team to investigate these rumors. Beckenbauer was unwilling to discuss the specifics of the job in your absence, and has requested you speak with him in person at your earliest convenience. Okay. No big... wait. Still got a weird hand thing. That means there's more things to do. Alice Fund. Our current fund is 10,000. Required funds, 50,000. Access to Shadowrun BBS. Do we have any paid data to post? Nope. Do we have any relevant keywords? Nope. Yeah, I guess that's it. Is that everything on there? No, there's still something else. Okay, definitely clicked on both of those. I guess whatever it is just gonna have to wait. Alright, so there's 3 people that want us to come talk to them. Step 1 is to go alone to the Soy Calf Cafe, which isn't at all dangerous. Luca Dewar. So you're Eltimar, eh? The late Monica Schaefer's replacement? He looks you up and down the nods. Good, you look the part. Let me get right to business. My organization would like to retain your services for the indefinite future, but first, we're asking you to go on a trial run, an audition of sorts to prove that you're the right man for the job. Assuming that you complete this trial to our satisfaction, I will then offer you a variety of simple tasks. All of these should be achievable in the course of your everyday business. You won't need to go out of your way or expose yourself to much unnecessary risk. For each task that you complete, you'll be rewarded handsomely, and there'll be a bonus if you finish them all. So, if I piqued your interest, will you accept our offer? What's the suggestion pay? I can offer you 1,500 Nuyen, but only if you complete the full edition, the run, the post-run interview, to our satisfaction. If you fail to perform up to our expectations, you will receive no pay and no further offers of work. Sure. Very good. Assuming that your performance in the edition passes muster, I can foresee a long and fruitful business between us. Sure, I'm in. He smiles. Very good. Now on to the task at hand. There's a man named Alashir. He's a senior manager at Hermes Eurocom, and a respected figure in his community. My organization suspects him of working with pro-corporate extremists. These people are actively working to undermine the Flux state and pave the way for a corporate-controlled Berlin. My organization has no more desire to see Berlin fall to the corporations than you do. However, we are hesitant to act on our suspicions without proof. This is where you come in. Keep talking. You'll meet with a team that I've arranged for you, and with their assistance you'll plant surveillance devices in his apartment. Take the U-Bahn to Frankfurter Tor and go alone. The rest of your team will meet you there. Hang on a second, I already have a team. You do, yes, but they are unsuitable for this job. Remember, this is a test of your abilities, not Iger's, or Glory's, or Dietrich's. How do you know their names? The same way that I knew yours. You'll complete this trial with the team that I have assembled, or not at all. It's important for us to know that you're willing to work within these limitations. So, will you work with the boundaries that I've described, or will you turn down an opportunity that your fellow runners would kill for? Sure, why not? Very good. The moment you board the train to Frankfurter Tor, your test will begin. I would advise you bring what you need in terms of medical supplies and ordnance. Once you embark on your trial run, there'll be no turning back. After you've planted the devices and verified that they work, come back to me. There'll be a brief interview, post-mortem on the run, if you like, and assuming that I'm satisfied with what I hear, I'll pay you your first stipend, and then we'll discuss our future options. Best of luck, Eltimar. We will be watching. So we have a secret mission now, and we have to go talk to the man over here. Can't remember his name. Samuel Beckenbauer. That's the one. Hello again, mon frond. What can I do for you? Or do you want to talk about a job? Yes, I do. Thank you for coming so promptly. He takes a deep breath, slowly releases it, and looks you in the eye. Tell me, what do you know about the Humanness Polyclub? Not a lot. I don't pay much attention to politics. Humanness might call itself a polyclub, but its goals are anything but political. The organization's true objective is to spread fear and hatred of the metahuman races. Humanness's bloody rhetoric helped instigate the Night of Rage. Keep talking. He nods. Yesterday, I overheard one of my assistants talking on his comm. He was yelling, clearly agitated. I questioned him. He confided in me. What he told me made my blood run cold. What did he tell you? His brother, Tuck, works for a smuggling operation based in Shadowrun. Apparently, these smugglers have accepted a contract from Volker Stahl. Stahl is a vicious ideologue and the leader of the Berlin chapter of Humanness. The cargo that the smugglers are delivering includes a large quantity of an extremely hazardous chemical agent. Naturally, this fills me with unease. Whatever Stahl has planned, it can't be good for us. I want you to infiltrate the smuggling operation that's delivering the shipment. Once you arrive at the Humanness compound, you will find out what they're planning to do with the chemical and put a stop to it. What's this gig pay? I've contacted sister organizations across Berlin and taken up a collection. Between us, we have raised 22,000 new yen as payment. I trust that will be sufficient. I'll do it. Count me in. Excellent. I'm relieved. I'll make arrangements for you to meet with the smugglers. Their leader is an elf who calls himself Maxim. Take the U-Bahn to Shadowrun and you will find him waiting there. Best of luck to you, Eltimar, and good hunting. Know that you're doing a great thing for the metahumans of Berlin. Your efforts will not go unrecognized. That said, we're not going to do that mission right away. We are going to go to the... Hi, who are you? Oh, it's Dietrich. A lone figure stands in the U-Bahn station. Dietrich. He raises the bottle at your approach and tosses it away. Figured I'd run into you here, boss. Wanted to be sure that I caught you before you headed off. He takes a deep breath and slowly releases it. Looks you in the eye. Eltimar, we have to have a talk about this Humanness gig. Go ahead, Dietrich. I'm listening. Well, I got a history at the Humanness. Fought him back in 39 during the Night of Rage. Hell of a thing that was. I remember the terror, the senseless violence, the murdered children. I remember this little dwarf boy. They stuffed his body in the gutter, Eltimar. I can still see his face, all bruised and broken. To this day, it makes my blood boil. Anyway, long story short, we beat him. Berlin's punks and anarchists all came together and we stomped the living dreck out of those racist pigs. A lot of good people died that night, but we put down some of the bad ones too. Let me guess, do you want to come on the Humanness job so you can finish the job? That's part of it, sure. But that's not the whole story. I don't just want to come on this run, boss. I have to come. It's my nephew Alexander. He signed on with the Humanness, driven to it by his worthless sack of a dad, no doubt. I take it that his father, your brother, is a Humanness member too? Nah, that'd take a level of conviction quality that he thoroughly lacks. My best guess is he's treating Humanness as a boarding school. They feed and house their recruits, and that's money he'd rather spend on himself, so he dumped his boy off on them. Never mind the fact that they're fascist swine. I've got to get Alexander out of there, Eltimar, before it's too late. Those monsters are experts at warping young minds. It's how their disgusting ideology propagates. So I'm asking you, as a personal favor, to let me come along on the run. I have to get into that compound, Eltimar. I have to find Alexander. I have to do something, or I have to turn him around before those animals make him do something unforgivable. Of course, Dietrich, I wouldn't keep you from something like this. Thanks, boss. Never doubted you bring me, of course. You're too good a man for that. But it's good to hear it all the same. We're not doing that mission, though. Sorry, bud. We are going to go to Frankfurter Tor and meet Luca Dur's team. That's the mission we're going on right now. Also, 1500 Nuyen is nothing. As the U-Bahn hums towards the Frankfurter Tor, you tug idly at the fabric of your maintenance uniform. You found it in a duffel bag on your seat when you boarded, along with a note from Dur to put it on before your arrival. The moment you step off this train, the note said your trial run begins. You're to rendezvous with the rest of your team, reconnoiter the building, plant the specified devices in Alashir's suite. Alashire's suite? Whatever. Beyond that, your approach will be left to you. Do not disappoint us, you're being watched. Got it. Gun everyone down, I understand. As you emerge from the dingy confines of the U-Bahn terminal and step into the light of day, you find yourself confronted by a wall of muscle in a knight-errant uniform. You're with maintenance? It isn't a question. He stands impassively, waiting for a response. Yes, sir. Have you seen any other maintenance guys around here? Yes, they've been trickling in over the last 15 minutes or so. I've done a security check on your entire crew. Everything's checked out, so you're good to head into the building whenever you want. Thank you for your time. Efficient operation you're running here. It's almost as if you're expecting me. We were. No one gets on or off that train without us knowing about it. Don't worry. All the correct paperwork has already been filed. You and your crew are good for the next 12 hours. Good to know you're so on top of things. We're knight-errant. Of course we're on top of things. You get what you pay for, and the owners of this building paid for the best. Well, keep up the good work, man. He nods at you. Have a good one. That is really cool looking armor. A young dwarf looks up at you wide-eyed with apprehension. From the way that she's fidgeting, you can tell she's terrified. She bites her lower lip, eyes darting from side to side. Finally, she takes a step towards you. Hello, are you Mr. Eltimar? Yeah, that's me. Am I late? No, you're right on time, but the rest of us got here early, and one of the others was pretty vocal about not wanting to wait. He already took off, and the other guy followed him in. They're already inside. One sec, sorry. Oh, no, there we go. Well, let me get this straight. They charged on into the building, and you didn't do anything to stop them? The dwarf wrings her hands. I told them to wait. Our instructions were clear, I said. We need to go in as a group, but they didn't listen to me. They went on in anyways. Alright, calm down. I see you have a toolbox. Are you a rigger or something? She swallows. Well, no. I'm not like you, not like the others. You should probably know that. Then what are you like? A normal person with a boyfriend and a cat in a shitty apartment? I'm not a career criminal, that's what I'm saying. I'm just an electrician. If you're not a Shadowrunner, what are you doing on this crew? Her face flushes red. I'd rather not talk about it. Let's say someone did me a favor once, and that coming along on this thing is how I have to pay it back. Look, in the end it doesn't matter. I have to be on this run, and you have to bring me along. It's what they want. Well, I'll try and get you through this safely, but I can't make any promises. She nods eagerly. Thank you. I really, really mean that. No problem. Now, you said our teammates are already inside. You sure about that? Yeah, I watched them storm through the front door of the building that we're going to hit about 10 minutes ago. A lot can happen in 10 minutes. They'll still be on the first floor. Nobody's getting upstairs until I bypass the security locks in the elevator. That's why I decided to wait for you out here. I figured they couldn't get too far ahead of us if I didn't go in with them. Good thinking. Thanks, I just hope they don't screw things up in there. All I want is to get this thing over with and get back home. Right there with you. Let's head on in. A mid-level corporate compound, complete with living spaces on the upper levels. It's lovely looking. Wait, hold up. Before we go inside, let's take a quick look around. There is a ladder here. It's too high to reach. Okay. Nothing else over here. If you hold X, it highlights things too, so just to keep that in mind if you're looking around for things. There's a waitress here. Let's see if we can talk to her. The waitress steps forward to greet you, a drink menu in her hand. Welcome to Caf Shack, home of the budget-friendly caffeine fix. May I help you? What do you have? We got the cheapest soy cap in Berlin, guaranteed. She pauses for a moment, then looks you up and down. You've been around long enough to know when you're being sized up. Finally, she continues. But of course, for hard-working folks like yourself, we do have other options. Options that corporate security doesn't tend to appreciate very much. Productivity enhancers. Get the picture? I'm good, thanks. She shrugs. Suit yourself. Have a good one. She's a drug dealer as well. Nothing up here. Alright. Let's go inside the building. As you step through the door, you find yourself confronted by a pair of men wearing the same kind of uniform you are. Judging by their expressions, there's no love lost between the two. Hearing the door swing open, they turn face you. The shorter of the two, a human with arcane symbols tastefully embossed into his belt, glares at you. You're here finally, and you brought a little mouse of an electrician with you. Better late than never, but not much better. You're tardy enough as it is. He jerks his thumb at the elf standing beside him. I'll leave you to keep our pack mule in line. The elf's lips curl into a snarl. Hanging from his back is a bulging pack that looks incredibly heavy. His broad shoulders sag under the weight of whatever's inside. He's dumb as a post, but he can lift heavy things. Might not be bad in a fight either. At the very least, he can soak up a few bullets for the rest of us. Staring daggers at the mage, he spits out a long string of foreign words in a single, susurrant breath. The sound of it's lovely, but his expression leaves little doubt that the message behind the words is an ugly one. Oh, and I hope you can speak Sperethiel. He shakes his head in disgust. Damn useless immigrants. Do us all a favor and keep your opinions to yourself. The corner of his mouth lifts in an ugly smirk. You may be the leader of this team, but I'll speak my mind whenever I please. Get used to it. Oh, by the way, think you could have gotten here any later, pal? I've got an important meeting to go to, and if I'm late, shit's gonna hit the... This isn't getting us to your meeting any faster. He flashes a hateful glance at the dwarf, then turns his attention back to you. No, it isn't. So let's get to the penthouse and plant the cameras. I'll mask them against detection. We can all go our separate ways. The The elf mutters something under his breath and hitches the bulky pack up a little higher on his back. His muscles bulge under the strain of it. Pack looks heavy, I can help you with it if you want. The elf blinks uncomprehendingly and takes a half step back. I told you, can't understand a word of what you're saying. Nothing's coming out of his mouth but that pigeon drivel elves call a language. A Tiern gear dialect if I'm not mistaken. I wish you'd do us all a favor and go back. Can you understand me at all? The musical tones of the elvish tongue pour out of his mouth again, but you can't make out a word. His dialect is quite foreign. It's unlike the form of Sperethiel spoken by the elves of Tir na Nog. The elf falls silent. He looks just as frustrated as the mage is. Just relax and concentrate on the job. Your words don't seem to have much impact. The elf scowl deepens. Now that we're all together, let's discuss our approach. Anyone know how we're supposed to get into Alshir's penthouse? I do. If you can get me to a building access panel that's on the same circuit as the penthouse, I should be able to put its security system into maintenance mode. The job will take some creative rewiring. Well, that, and whatever's in the pack that the elf is carrying. Our employers gave us the schematics. And do you know where we'll find that access panel, Mouse? Quit calling me that. She takes a moment to calm herself. And yes, I do. There's an access panel in one of the mid-range apartments on the same floor. My contact gave me a key code that should get us in. You said should twice already. That makes me feel uneasy. Well, there's nothing that I can do about that. It's the plan I was given. And we're stuck with it. Unless you have a better idea, we'll just have to follow our instructions and hope for the best. She turns to face you. Get me to a building access terminal on this floor and I can rewire the elevator. That's the first thing that we need to do. Once we're upstairs, we can use the code I was given. I rewire the security system and we hide the cameras in his apartment. That's the theory anyways. Alright then, let's go. I'm not too concerned. But we are also out of time on this video, so in the next video we will ascend up into this tower. But for now, I'll leave you guys here. Like always, if you have any suggestions or comments, please leave them below. Otherwise, I'll see you all next time. Take care.